Ever wonder why some can in the clutch, as in why some people can step up when the heat's turned up to perform? It's an interesting study. It is what led one college football player to a career.
I had a professor in college that I played football in college at UMD, and I really liked psychology. And he said, "Hey, have you ever thought of the field of sports psychology?" I said, "What's that?"
Tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. And I was this was kind of the mid-90s, and I hadn't heard of it. He said, you know, you got to look into this. And what are some of the things that you've tried to do to overcome those obstacles?
Yes, this is his profession, counseling on performance.
So tell me a little bit about the fear you're having with your dive.
I don't know if I even call it.
He works with his wife, both former college athletes trying to make this their own winning team.
Pretty darn good, actually. I have some complaints around his organization. He's not he's not the most organized. He flies by the seat of his pants a little bit more than I do, but I think partly that's, you know, we work together well in that sense.
And one more associate, working through the tough issues of performance, of sports, yes, but applicable to anyone who takes any kind of stage. And the key to hitting the right note is more a choice than predestined.
I think it's because they've learned how to manage their emotions and their thinking. I mean, it's as simple as that. You have some really great, high, talented people that can't do it, and it's because they just haven't learned how to do it.
What is it they haven't learned?
Well, it's very fine tuning sort of things, but you'd be surprised at how simple and delicate the mind is.
Carlin is a one-time gymnast at UCLA, which brings in another question. What's the difference between performing against someone and against yourself?
Individual sports, it is always all on you. And if you fail or you succeed, it's all on you. And so I think the failure side of that is particularly challenging when it is all on you that things didn't go well.
What she finds is what surprises many, that no matter what the level or the person, confidence and self-doubt walk side by side. Managing the two of them means managing your life. Much of that theory comes from an unofficial mentor, the late John Wooden, someone we visited for Life to the Max in 2007.
The leader must listen. A wise old owl sat in an oak. The more he heard, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Now, wasn't he a wise old bird?
At his core is what she subscribes to.
Whether I work with a little 6-year-old who's afraid to compete, or I work with an Olympian a few months before leaving for the London Games, they're very different caliber athletes, but really what I want to help them reach is that place in their mind where they feel at peace, that I have given my best effort, I can feel good about whatever I do.
That is the journey of this office, of this team inside the office, to probe enough to find out what is short-circuiting you from optimum performance.
Our mind sometimes goes to the future, where we really start thinking about the what ifs and the what could happen. But it can be anything from performance anxiety, so what do you do when the game's on the line and that pressure's there, to dealing with, I'm kind of sad, how do you deal with failure? To motivation. I'm getting kind of tired during preseason, which can be really exhausting. So how do I stay motivated?
What is fascinating about it all is that the best place for the mind is where you feel like you're not thinking, just reacting.
We're starting to see that if people train their minds and think a certain way, we see neural connections start to build within their mind. And so now we can say, well, gosh, if we know that's true, well, why aren't we starting to build the right neural connections so that when they're in these situations, they're functioning and focusing on those kinds of things?
But we are programmed to see harm on the horizon. It is the evolution of the human race, always scanning for danger.
There's actually some philosophy that it's based in sort of some evolutionary ideas that it was for survival purposes, right? It was advantageous or beneficial for us to always be scanning our environment and being able to zone in or pick out
the red flags.
The red flags.
Yep.
So bear, oh my gosh,
yep.
Get ready to, you know, fight.
And nothing else matters except if there's a bear there. Anything else I don't have to deal with, right?
Right, because you need to survive.
Yeah.
And so they leave you with a word for parents, maybe the greatest coaches or obstacles in any performer's life.
I think a parent that is genuinely supportive of their young athlete or adult athlete, generally supportive in that they are focused on the effort and the process of their athlete's success and not just the outcome, that they take a non-judgmental stance towards their athlete's performance so they're not overly critical. They show unconditional love and care regardless of how their athlete's performing, and to the best of their ability, they equip their athlete with resources.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Life Touch, photography for a lifetime.